Good morning, it's the 2nd of August 2023 and this is my trade plan for today. On my screen at the moment is the MES or the ES futures chart for the 1 hour time frame. And what we're looking at now is a bit of a sell-off since last night. So we ended yesterday here and so this is where we ended up yesterday. We opened up an hour later there and we gave a bit of a pullback up into this area, which is this area which we've had on our charts now for some time, and it pulled right back up to that top level. It broke through the 200 moving average at 45.90 and then it's just been on a downward trajectory since then. Interestingly though, levels which we've been looking at have come into play. So we've had this area, in fact I've added a level today, I made it more clear. We had this green demand area which has been in place for some time now, and we came in and retested the top of that. We did go push right through it on, this is the day the Japanese news came out, and so this area has always been of interest since then. And last night or this morning in the pre-market we came back and we retested that area exactly there. We pushed right through and we came up to another pivot area, which is the bottom of that area. Look at that, a nice double bottom there. So we're in a downtrend, as you can see on the hourly now. So we put in a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, this lower low and this lower high. So maybe we could be looking for another sell-off today, back down to maybe the 45.50, 45.45 area. So on watch for me today will be this area, and I've had my eyes on this area for some time, because the last time we got down here we saw this big move up. So we had this double bottom tail on the hourly, and look what happened. We went from 45.50, 45.45 all the way up to 45, 46, 34.50. So a big move up. So this is what I'm watching, this area down here. So if we do get down here, this will be my A++ setup, where I will be averaging in. I'll be taking a trade. I'll be taking smaller positions, my starting positions on entry, maybe just before the entry. I will probably look to scalp it or go long at 40, 45, 53 area as a potential double bottom today. And if we do break through that, then I'll be watching this area. So which 45, 45 is my preferred area I want to get into. 45, 53 is a potential bounce area as well. And we could also be looking at 45, 63 as a bounce area as well. So potential bounce there. But if we are looking weak and we see a big red day like we saw on, was that Thursday last week, then we might push through that. So we only want to take on confirmation. So this would be a B+ setup, this would be an A+ setup, and this would be an A++ setup. So this is the area I'm really watching for, 45, 45. And for rejections, I'm currently short of rejection. I took this area here in the pre-market, and so I'm pretty much, my trading's pretty much done for the day. So I only really want to wait for this A++ setup. If we get down there, I may consider a couple of scalps here and there. So rejection wise, I probably won't want to reject it again if it comes back up, because I always like to take the first touch or the first rejection. But we have got this zone, this area here, and this entire red zone is an area of convergence, where we've had lots of tops and bottoms of candles intersect each other. So probably we'll be looking at a nice area there, and it's just below. It also coincides with this change in trend, possibly on the moving average, the 200 moving average. So this 200 moving average on the average is just starting to flatten out, and maybe we can see it curve back down again. So that's my play for today. I'm already short here, and I've got one start position left now. My average price is right up here, and I added when it came back on that pullback there. So I'm doing okay on this trade. I'm going to hold that. If we get down to here, I'll probably look to take profit and close my position, because that'll probably be a potential bounce area. So to sum up the areas for a bounce, I'm going to start at the most desirable one, 45, 45. Nice easy number to remember. So that white line on my chart, that's my alert. So when it comes down to that, I want to be alerted, but I will be watching it anyway. So again, I'll be layering into this position. So 45, 45, 45, 53, or 45, 54. This area here, a potential bounce, more of a scalp at 45, 63. And I had this area earmarked as well, but that we can ignore that because we've already gone through that today. 45, 75 area, and obviously it's not proven to be much. It's not held up much resistance or support. So apart from here and here, so it was an area in play, but I don't think it is now. So if we come back up, another rejection area, it will be this area, and I'll be watching for 45.90 for rejection. So this would be, in my opinion, probably a setup, maybe an A plus. 4605 to 4600, that will be another A plus plus rejection. So if we do get up here, I'll be definitely watching for a rejection, again using layering in with starter positions, and then as I come out of the trade, for example, when I got down here, I've only got one contract left, so I won't be layering out. I've already taken profit at the VWAP and around about that level. So my next out will be at 45.63, or if we break above the VWAP possibly. So that'd be my. So that's what I'm watching for. We've just broken a pivot low as well. If you look, we've just broken that. So it looks like it does look quite weak today. So that's a great trade. Looking at SPY. Let's go into the 60-minute. It's uncanny, isn't it, how the levels from weeks ago are still in play right now. So that's why it's always good to always keep the levels on your screen, especially ones you're looking at. So we've been keeping an eye on this area, 451, 452 area, because it was originally it was the ceiling and providing support. Then we broke through it, came back down, retested it and pushed up, retested it again for a bounce, retested it again for a bounce, came in here for a bounce, not far off it for that bounce, and in the pre-market and the post-market last night, we've retested it twice as well for a bounce. So potentially 451.80 to 452 is a potential bounce area again, but we've touched it now once, twice, 3 times, 4 times in the last 4 days. Maybe we're looking for a breakdown on it, but that'll be with confirmation. It might come down, it might just go sideways for a bit, so eat time off the clock before pushing down. So that's a potential area to watch for 451, but an A++ area to watch would be 450. This is the area to be, which would be in play. And again, a bit like the ES, we've got this double bottom. Last time we got down there, we pushed up, we pulled back, and we saw this big reaction to the upside. So of all the places I'll be watching would be 450. I think that's the best place. 451.50 is to 452 will be a higher risk bounce, again on confirmation. Rejection wise, 456.50 could be an area to reject, and then we've got 458, and if we get up there, 459 to 459.50. So they're the areas. Okay, I've not looked at Qs or Nasdaq today, so let's take a quick look. Let's go to Nasdaq first. This is the Nasdaq or the NQ futures chart, and looking very similar to the ES as well. Look at that. One point of interest is we were never able to break through this area, 15,900, and 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 times it tried, and then it broke down. And obviously that's the news we got from Japan, and the FMOC was here. We had the big push up on after FMOC last week. Japan then brought it back down. So if we are watching Nasdaq, potential bounce area will be 15,520. So that would be, let's just make it a better line. Yeah, there we go. So that's the area you should be watching for potential bounce on Nasdaq. You could look for a scalp at that area, which is 15,600 area, nice round number as well. 1550 would be the more preferred area because that's a nice round number as well. 15,500 I meant. Rejection wise, you probably don't want to be looking at anything until we get back up here again. And this is an area of high volume, you can tell by this point of control line going through. So it's congested volume from all this buying and selling before we broke down. Look at that, we retested that area perfectly. And if we look at the Qs, we've probably got something very similar, yeah, identical. So again, similar issue, or similar place, a rejection area at 383.50, and we potentially could have a higher risk rejection up here at 380 to 381, or 381 area. But bounce wise, I would wait till we get down to 375. That looks like the best base place for a bounce, and maybe a scalp 377.50. Right, hopefully this helps, and I'll be mainly looking at MES or the ES charts today, and that's my area, that's my area of expertise and what I prefer. And so I think we've got some good plays, kind of some good levels coming up on here. So to recap on this area, we're watching 45 area for a bounce, and possibly a rejection at 4605, 4600 area. These would be my A plus areas. So these are ones which I would layer in, resize, and wait for the rejection or the bounce. Anything else, any of the other lines will be scalps or higher risk areas, but still valid. You know, we've had some good. Look at this, the levels I've got. We've literally touched them all. This level here has come into play a few times. This level here has come into play a few times. It's definitely there. There's the tops there. We've got this area congested volume, and it's the head and shoulders of this pattern here, head and shoulders area. So we know there's high volume in that area because that's where we were buying and selling. It came back in, retested that area, retested that area, retested that area before breaking through, retested it for a bounce, come back up, and then we haven't really retested it here possibly, and then down there. So this is the area to keep an eye out for a rejection, and the bounce is obviously the area we looked at. If we just come out a bit more, if we see a bigger sell-off, then potentially we could be looking at 45.28, 45.30, that area. Just add that in as well. So we could be watching this area as well for a bounce. And there's not much. If we break through this area, if we break through this area, we've got quite a big gap down. So potentially we could see a bit of free fall. So this is the area which we're watching, which is this green zone I've drawn in. That's the demand area. So break down through here and come back up, and we've got quite a big movement back down again. And then potentially have an area around here, and then we've got this big gap as well before we hit this big area around here. So on the downside, we've got some bigger moves possible. And remember, the down moves seem to be a much quicker. This one's a good example than the up moves. So you can look at it. If you look at this, the candles we've got. We'll take this as an example. So we've got small little candles coming in. These little tiny small up candles, and then all that's taken out by this big red down candles. And we can look again. If you go to where we see any down, like coming back down here as well. It seems like we work really hard to go long. So we work hard, we're taking time off the clock, working hard, and boom, we're taking out. Then we're working really hard here, really hard. We're pushing up, and then we might just see all that taken out within a space of a few days. So look at this. This is the Japanese news day. So we had this. If you look at it on probably the 4-hour chart or the 8-hour chart, it's a big clearing bar which takes out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 days worth of hard work from the buyers. So something to watch out for if we do get into a downtrend. That's why I was quite keen to short on the open on the pre-market. The downtrend could be more violent than the uptrend, so that's why I was trying to find an entry, and that's why I got in at that point there. And I'll just show you that trade. Just go into the 5 minute. It's a great trade. Not that I want to be big-headed. I was watching. This is what I was watching. I was watching it from about here onwards, and it's coming up, pulled back. There's nothing really significant in volume, and then I started seeing this little bit of extra volume here. So these two candles here. So I was keeping an eye on those candles. It's still pushed up, got to a level, and then what got my attention was this big ending volume candle, which was this candle here, and on a topping tail as well, and off of the 200 moving average, and off of the zone I'd drawn in as well. So we got this our supply zone as well. So there was too much resistance for me not to take the trade. So I waited. I think I got in there on the 2 minute. I'll show you the 2 minute. Yeah, and I'll show you my exact entry. So on the 2 minute was this topping candle. Again, it's on high volume as well. So it's a small candle. Small candle. Let's get rid of that. So you've got the big candle there. That's what took my attention. Then we had larger candle, above average volume. So this white line is my moving average for the volume. So it's well above moving average, well above the average volume. But we had a really small candle. So to me, that signifies a turnaround, the buyers and the sellers, and it looks like the sellers are winning. So my entry was as we broke through that candle back down, I got in. So I was whipped in there, it pulled back up to I was never once in the red. No, it went up to break even, and I think I had a tight stop about there, and then it pulled down. So my first profit, I should have taken profit earlier, but I didn't. I waited because I was so confident we're going to see it push down, and it was on the VWAP. So my first profit was there, and then my next profit was on this 200 moving average, because I thought it might bounce. In fact, it wasn't there. It was here. That's where I took my next profit. Then it pulled back. I only had one contract left, and my break even was one up here as well. So my break even's there. So I held it. I saw the 50 curving over. I wasn't worried. I saw higher volume as well. Again, I wasn't worried, and I just left it for the runner. So I'm still in it now, and I've got one contract left as a runner, and maybe we might see it push down for the rest of the day. But here's a good thing to note: the runners are usually the one that makes you the most profit. So my outs were all along this bit, but I want this run as usually when I leave one or two runners, they're the ones that make the most profit in the day, rather than the actual hard work trading where you're getting in and out of the trades, just to get profit and to put profit on the table. So hopefully that makes that help, especially the volume. That's what I'm looking for in volume as well, and that's a perfect entry and a perfect trade. And pre-markets, there's lower volume than normal, but it doesn't really matter because the volume, as you can see, it worked both times, and that's what I was watching for. A bit like yesterday's pre-market, I used volume as my entry, and today I use volume as well. And obviously I knew the trend was coming down, we were in a downtrend, so hence I was looking for the short, trying to go with the trend, not against the trend. And I'm always a trend reversal type of trader, so I'm always trying to go against the trend. And over recent months it's been hard work, and I'm always fighting the trend, it seems to be. But since I switched my strategy to go with the trend and be more patient, especially the last 3 or 4 days, and the trend's changed to a short, and I prefer the short, I found it a lot easier and less stressful. And look at that, it's just coming down, putting in lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and putting in another low low, and look, we're still breaking down now. So yeah, that's a great trade. Like I said, I'm still in it, and I may look to get out when we get to this area, or around here if we break through, but I'll just play by ear. Right, have a good day. Sorry for rambling on, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.